We've wrapped up day 2 of Judge Neil Gorsuch's confirmation hearings, the first time the president's Supreme Court pick faced questions from the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senate Democrats pressed Gorsuch on Roe v. Wade, same-sex marriage, gun rights, and privacy. By late Wednesday or Thursday, we'll hear from witnesses who will speak for or against the judge. Someone who would vouch for him is Theresa Wardon. She's a former clerk for Judge Gorsuch, and she joins me now from Washington. Theresa, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So you co-authored a really interesting piece called 3 Things We Learned While Clerking for Neil Gorsuch. What was that experience like?
It was a wonderful clerkship, and for your viewers who don't know what a clerkship is, it's a year you get to spend with the judge if you're selected from among hundreds of applicants, helping him draft opinions, research law, and really learning a lot about the law. But it's also an experience where you get to get a lifetime mentor, and Judge Gorsuch has become that for all of his clerks, and certainly for me. He also made sure that we enjoyed our time in Colorado. Colorado was new to me when I started the clerkship. I now live there and have been there for 9 years, so obviously his arguments for it were very persuasive. He taught us how to ski if we were new to that. He took us hiking. We would do runs a couple times a week. He made sure we really enjoyed our clerkship, both from a professional and a personal standpoint.
So over the course of your clerkship, what is it that you learned from him?
I certainly became a better thinker, a better writer. Judge Gorsuch digs deep into the issues. I think that's why he's such a fair-minded and independent judge, is he doesn't just look at an issue superficially and then decide the case. He looks at, what does the law really say? What are all the facts at issue? What does the law compel him to do?
And the president promised during the campaign to nominate someone conservative to the Supreme Court. It's interesting, you're a registered Democrat, and you wrote that as judge, Gorsuch does not have a client or a side. Explain that for us, if you will, and how do you think Judge Gorsuch might be able to convince Democrats who may be on the fence about voting for him that he is in fact suited for the job?
Judge Gorsuch certainly has what could be called a conservative judicial philosophy. He believes that his role is to interpret the law, not to make it. And that, even as a Democrat, I respect that approach to law. It's very principled. It allows him to put aside his own personal beliefs, his own political affiliations, and decide the case in front of him without regard to those beliefs. And, he has a number of clerks who are Democrats and independents. I'm not the only one. And all 39 of us joined in a letter supporting his nomination. So that goes to show that not only does he hire from across the spectrum, but we also support him.
Well, Judge Gorsuch, of course, as you know, would be filling the vacancy left by the death of the late Justice Antonin Scalia. He's been compared to him before. What do you make of those comparisons?
There are certainly some comparisons. Justice Scalia also had a conservative judicial philosophy that has been compared to Judge Gorsuch's, in that they believe firmly in the separation of powers. They believe that Congress has a job, and that's to make the law, and that's because Congress is subject to election and re-election. So if the people don't like the law, they can change it by changing Congress. And they believe firmly that it's the judge's limited role to interpret that law. So there are some comparisons there, but I think it remains to be seen what Judge Gorsuch, as he becomes, hopefully, Justice Gorsuch, what kind of justice he will be.
All right. Theresa Wardon, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.